Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever really stopped to think about what's happening behind the screen on your phone or your laptop? We're going to dig into a word we hear all the time, but maybe don't think about enough: multimedia.
I mean, it is absolutely everywhere. It's the video calls you make, the shows you stream, the games you play. It's so deeply woven into our lives that, we kind of just take it for granted.
But what does that word actually mean? What are the ingredients that make something multimedia? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack right now.
So let's get right into the heart of it. The basic idea is actually pretty simple, but it's the way all the different pieces come together that makes it so incredibly powerful.
The name really gives the game away, right? Multi, meaning many, and media, meaning, well, ways to communicate. So it's not just text, it's not just pictures, it's an application that intentionally combines a whole bunch of them: video, sound, animation, and, this is the secret sauce, interactivity. Just think about a typical video conference call. You've got live video of people, you've got their audio, and you're probably typing in a chat window. That's a perfect example. Or look at something like augmented reality, where graphics and information are literally layered on top of the real world. These are complex, integrated experiences, not just one stream of info. But this stuff didn't just appear out of nowhere. To really appreciate where we are today, we've got to take a quick look back at how we got here. The whole idea of mixing media has been evolving for a long, long time. And what's wild when you look at this timeline is the acceleration. We go from the very first ideas about motion pictures and radio to this absolute explosion in the 20th century. But the real spark, the one idea that really set the stage for everything we use today, popped up right in the middle there, in 1945. So this guy, Vannevar Bush, he described a theoretical device called the Memex. And get this, his vision was for a machine that could store a person's entire library, all their books, records, notes, and let them pull it up instantly. But the truly revolutionary part, these associative links. He imagined being able to connect related bits of info together to create these pathways of thought. Sound familiar? It should. He was basically describing the hyperlink, the fundamental concept behind the entire World Wide Web, decades before the tech even existed to build it. Amazing. So Bush's idea of associative links led directly to what we call hypertext. That's pretty straightforward. It's linking words to other words, letting you jump around a document instead of just reading top to bottom. But the real quantum leap was from hypertext to hypermedia. This is the big idea. What if you could link anything to anything else? Not just text to text, but a word to a video clip or an image to a sound file. That is hypermedia. And that is what the World Wide Web is. It's the ultimate hypermedia machine. So, how does all this magic actually happen? How do you build one of these experiences? Well, let's pull back the curtain and peek into the creator's digital toolkit. Putting together a multimedia project is a lot like conducting an orchestra. You need a bunch of different instruments, in this case software, to make all the parts sing together. And very often, the whole process begins with the audio. Sound sets the mood, it creates the atmosphere, it provides the rhythm for everything else to follow. So you might have creators using software like Cubase to compose a musical score right from scratch. Or they might be in a program like Pro Tools, which is like a high-tech editing bay for sound, meticulously cutting, shaping, and polishing everything from narration to sound effects. All right, so once you've got that soundscape laid down, the next layer is, of course, the visuals. This is where the world of your project really starts to come into focus. This can mean using a tool like Adobe Illustrator to create those super clean, crisp logos and graphics that you can resize without losing any quality. Or you've got the heavyweight champion, Adobe Photoshop, for manipulating photos and building up incredibly complex, layered images. But of course, multimedia is rarely just static images and sound. The final piece of the creation puzzle is bringing it all to life with movement. And this is where it all comes together. Video editing software like Adobe Premiere or Final Cut Pro is where you assemble all the clips. For adding that extra visual flair, special effects and slick graphics, creators turn to After Effects. And for building entire worlds from scratch, there are powerful 3D animation tools like Maya. Okay, you've got your audio files, you've got your graphics, you've got your video clips. Now for the really hard part. How do you make them all work together perfectly? How do you make sure everything happens at the exact right moment? You need a conductor. And one of the answers is a language called Smile. Yeah, pronounced smile. The easiest way to think about it is as a director's script for your media.
It's just a set of instructions, a timeline, that tells the media player precisely when to start the video, when a certain sound should play, and exactly when an image should pop up on screen.
And you really don't have to be a coder to get the basic idea. A SMIL script is just creating a sequence of events. So it might say, okay, right at the beginning, start the main video, the background music, and the title text all at once. Then it sets up a trigger. As soon as that video clip is finished, pop this image onto the screen. And all the while, that background music and text can just keep on going. It's that level of control that creates a really seamless experience for the person watching.
So we've looked at what multimedia is, how it came to be, and the tools used to make it. But where is all this heading? Well, the future might be a whole lot less about us just sitting back and watching. Seriously, imagine this. What if you were watching a movie or a presentation, but instead of just being a passive viewer, you actually had the power to change what was happening on screen?
This is a fascinating concept called editable media. It's this idea that you, the end user, could be given the controls. Maybe you could decide to move a graphic to a different corner of the screen. Or what if you could actually delete a character from a scene just to see how it would play out without them? It's a huge shift from a fixed presentation to a totally dynamic, user-driven world.
And that really leaves us with this one last big question to chew on. For more than 100 years, our role has been to consume media. We watch, we listen, we read. But as this technology keeps evolving, maybe that line between the audience and the creator is going to blur, until eventually we all become the directors of our own media experiences. Definitely something to think about.